Sandra Bullock parties too hard and winds up in rehab in 28 days. Fast-track executive Christian Bale at night turns into American Psycho. And Jenna Elfman challenges Rabbi Ben Stiller and Father Edward Norton in keeping the faith.
Your sentence was for 28 days of rehab or jail time.
Oh, well, you don't honestly think I'm going to jail, do you?
Sandra Bullock plays a drunk who's afraid of being transferred from rehab to jail on that scene from 28 Days, one of 5 movies we'll be reviewing this week. I'm Roger Ebert of the Chicago Sun-Times.
And I'm Michaela Pereira of ZDTV's Internet Tonight.
In the opening scenes of 28 Days, Sandra Bullock plays a character named Gwen who gets drunk at her sister's wedding, makes an insulting toast, knocks over the wedding cake, hijacks a limousine and drives it into somebody's house. And soon she finds herself in Serenity Glen, an alcohol and drug rehab center, where she thinks maybe if she makes the right contact, she can find a little something to relieve the pressure.
How can you get stuff? I mean, can you get stuff, or is it like...
You know, if your counselor catches you using, you can get kicked out of here.
Oh, well, I don't plan on discussing it with him.
Too late.
That's Steve Buscemi as her counselor. Group therapy sessions are brutal in their truth-telling.
I don't think you are giving. I don't feel that you are giving person.
I'm trying. I don't think you have niceness. You see, I don't feel niceness coming from you.
Should I just go to another group?
Oh, that'd be a great idea. You could spread your negativity even further.
Daniel.
The screenplay by Susanna Grant doesn't go in for a Snake Pit-style weird detox melodrama, but it has authentic dialogue like this.
My rule of thumb is when you get home, get yourself a plant. Then in about a year, get a pet. And then if in, say, 2 years, the plant and the pet are still alive, then you can start to think about having a relationship.
There have been a lot of movies about alcoholism and drug addiction, but what I liked about 28 Days was the matter-of-fact way it told a human story without hyping it up with a lot of lurid melodrama, a lot of phony love stories. The love story in this movie is realistic and doesn't really lead anywhere, which I think is typical of rehab. Sandra Bullock is convincing all the way through the movie, and it's good-hearted and patient with human weakness.
Sandra Bullock was the key to the success of this movie for me. Her appeal is the girl next door. And the girl next door put a real face on this disease that has affected so many people. And it makes it a little easier for us to feel a part of her rehabilitation. The other thing that was key in this movie to make it real for me were the camera angles. They allowed me to feel a part of those therapy sessions, and also allowed me to feel the intensity of some of those moments.
Obviously, in a movie like this, you have the temptation to fill up the background with a lot of weird characters who are acting out. And here, they're more like kind of real characters, like Rennie Santoni plays a doctor who gave himself a tracheotomy for reasons that we don't
Alan Tudyk, who plays Gerhard, who is a scream.
And all of these characters are more or less within the bounds of reality. It isn't like a Cuckoo's Nest where everybody is a character actor back there.
And the fact that there isn't really a resolution. They're all struggling, and the struggle continues beyond the 28 days.
Right.
Okay, next movie, and a further departure from Edward Norton's last film, Fight Club, you won't find. Keeping the Faith is a romantic comedy directed by and co-starring Mr. Norton, alongside Ben Stiller. Catholic priest Brian Finn, played by Norton, has been best friends since childhood with Stiller's Jacob Schramm, who is now a rabbi. Early in the movie, Brian tells Jake that Anna Riley, their best friend from grade school, is coming to New York for a visit.
Man, that is so cool.
I know.
I wonder why she called you.
What do you mean?
No, I mean, she called you.
What are you, in the 8th grade still?
What? That's a legitimate question. I mean, we're both listed.
When she arrives, both men find their fondness for their childhood friend has matured, as has she. The men develop feelings for the grown-up Anna, played by Jenna Elfman.
We've been totally impressed.
You look so hot in your suit, can I just tell you?
Thank you. You look beautiful.
You do. You look amazing.
Thanks, man.
Yeah, there's something about you. I don't know what it is tonight. There's some special...
An absence of something.
With the cell phone.
It's set to vibrate.
Oh, my...
Wow. Sexy.
The trouble is, Brian is a priest expected to be celibate, and Jake is a rabbi expected to marry within his faith. Later, a love-struck Brian shares a taxi home with Anna. He misinterprets her thoughtfulness and thinks that he's connecting with her in a real way.
Well, I mean, sometimes we don't see certain things until we're ready to see them in a certain way. You know? Very true.
Keeping the Faith handles well the religious and cultural pressures that many people face. It also happens to be a romantic comedy with an unusual love triangle. But despite the comedic efforts of Stiller and Norton, who, for the record, I both love, the humor didn't seem to have any staying power. Midway through the film, the comedy sagged. But I admire the spirit of this movie, and I did chuckle quite a bit, so a cautious thumbs up for me.
I liked it too, and you notice how in any movie season there seems to be a group of movies that all kind of resemble each other, and right now we seem to be in the middle of a group of films that are stories about characters that take some time to develop them. They're romantic comedies, but nevertheless they involve issues and they involve feelings, and that's what I liked about this film, that it didn't go for a lot of cheap one-liners about Catholics and Jews and celibacy and so forth.
Although there was a lot of that kind of humor, a priest and a rabbi.
There are some one-liners, but they're not cheap.
They were good.
You know, moderately priced. I just like the feeling of the two guys who have genuine feelings about this girl. It's not just all manipulative, and she has real feelings too, and she has a couple of speeches to Rabbi Ben Stiller that are very heartfelt, in which she says, I admire you for what you stand up for, and now you're not standing up for it.
Jen Elfman has great presence. She's a Meg Ryan type character, and I think she'll go far. Stiller has amazing physical comedy, and I was proud of Edward Norton, who, again, I say I'm a big fan, is a departure from the serious acting that he has done in the past, and he directed this.
Well, in movie after movie, Norton shows what a range he has, from a neo-Nazi to a Fight Club to this.
To a priest?
Okay. Coming up later, Christian Bale is an American Psycho. And coming up next, Paul Newman and Linda Fiorentino know where the money is.
So you're smart. Really smart. What do you want?
Out of prison and into a convalescent home after suffering a stroke.
He's a felon.
In the opening scenes of Where the Money Is, Paul Newman plays a bank robber and con man who seems to have suffered a stroke, and so he's been moved into a retirement home. But the movie very quickly reveals its secret, which is that Frank didn't have a stroke at all. He's playing possum as part of a scam to get out of prison and into a place that he can escape from. The scam might have worked, too. He's very skillful at imitating stroke symptoms, but his nurse, played by Linda Fiorentino, sees right through him. In a bar, Fiorentino and her husband, Dermot Mulroney, hear the old man's real story.
Faking a stroke is not exactly like an Olympic event, but I gotta tell you, if you know they're gonna be sticking pins in you, and you know that there are gonna be guards 24 hours a day just waiting for you to screw up on a hustle, then you know it ain't good enough to be just playing possum.
Fiorentino feels she's stagnating in her life and her job, and she wants to shake things up by being the old crook's partner in a bank job. Her husband sees them together a lot and suspects they're having an affair.
You stay away from her. I'll clean your clock. From now on, you know what's good for you? She gives you your medicine, she takes your temperature, and that's it.
Eventually, to Newman's amazement, they all get involved in an armored car heist.
You an ex-cop?
No, I used to be in food security, you know, bacterial stuff, protein protection. But my kid brother used to be a trooper in Maryland.
A nice state, Maryland.
Yeah, it's a nice state. I'll see you guys. Boy, I got a long night.
Hey, you know a guy named Fasano drives for trustee?
The story in Where the Money is pretty implausible, but the characters aren't. I don't know of a man like Newman's character get out of prison by faking a stroke, but I do believe that this guy would try. And then there's the way a quietly comic, conspiratorial relationship builds up between Newman and Fiorentino. The movie doesn't force sex or even romance. It just shows this smart and willful nurse as she realizes that this incorrigible old bank robber is the answer to her dreams. Fiorentino is kind of the key with her deep, calm voice. She's a competent nurse who coaxes this patient to heal, not himself, but her.
I am less than enthusiastic about this film. The major problem I had with it was that I felt it was too formulaic. Ex-prom queen, disgruntled with her life, wants to get out. Big whoop. You know, it didn't do enough for me. Plus, I wanted to know why she had this big chip on her shoulder. There was not enough backstory for me. I wanted to know a little bit more of why she was so bitter. But the other problem I had was the logistics. This man is a hardened criminal. He's a bank robber. He there's a lot of security around him when he's transferred to the home, yet there's no security outside the rest home. I don't know if the lack of security is unusual.
That's because they think he's paralyzed.
But even still, why did they have a guard in the truck then? I mean, he was locked and he was chained.
The truck starts at the prison, and so it's driven by a...
There's no lock on the window. There's nothing. Besides that, I grew up in a small town. You can't tell me that there aren't any nosy neighbors around there that would have seen a blue Mustang pursuing an armored car or seen a man that was supposed to...
Okay, well, I think... Okay, I said it was implausible.
Right.
I said it was implausible. I like the relationships. I like the way they're not pumped up to sitcom level. I like the fact that Paul Newman cannot act in a phony scene. There is not a phony bone in his body. And Fiorentino, she keeps it down. She keeps it calm. She keeps it personal. She doesn't go for the obvious payoffs. She's stagnating in this town.
I was glad to see
She wants
Paul
to get out.
Yes.
She wants to do something different with her life.
Too formulaic for me. I appreciated Paul Newman. He was the one glowing part of this movie.
Will you at least give me the chemistry of these?
No, because if it was up to me, I'd take Dermot Mulroney. I wouldn't take Paul Newman.
Okay. Coming up next, the controversial book is now the controversial movie, American Psycho, when we come back.
New card. What do you think?
Whoa. Very nice. Look at that.
Picked them up from the printers yesterday.
Good coloring.
That's bone. And the lettering is something called Cillian Braille.
A boardroom full of grown men drooling over a business card. It's one of the lighter moments in American Psycho, Mary Herron's film version of Bret Easton Ellis's controversial novel. The psycho in question is Patrick Bateman, played by Christian Bale, a 27-year-old Wall Street executive living it up in the 80s. Patrick seems like every other guy in mergers and acquisitions. He's cocky, he's handsome, and he dines at all the right places. But as we soon find out, there's something off about Patrick, way off. Here, Detective Willem Dafoe queries Patrick about a missing colleague.
Had his apartment been burglarized?
No, actually it hadn't. Toiletries were missing, a suit was gone, so was some luggage, that's it.
I mean, no one's dealing with a homicide squad yet or anything, right?
No, not yet. As I said, we're not sure. Basically, no one's seen or heard anything.
So typical, isn't it?
It's just strange. One day someone's walking around, going to work, alive, and then...
nothing.
There seems to be neither rhyme nor reason to how Patrick chooses his victims. His secretary, Jean, played by Academy Award nominee Chloe Sevigny, has managed, so far, to steer clear of his mayhem.
Make someone happy. Have you ever wanted to?
I'm looking for, I guess you could say I just want to have a meaningful relationship with someone special.
I appreciate movies that are creative, thought-provoking, and most of all, entertaining. I did not find American Psycho entertaining. In fact, I wanted it to end. I see what they were trying to do, add a satirical touch to this dreadful tale, but I think it missed its mark. Not unlike Travis Bickle, Patrick Bateman is a disturbed, terribly unbalanced man. There wasn't really anything humorous about that. We never find out just why Bateman is so unhinged, or given no inkling as to what pushed him over the edge. And I simply just did not buy the ending. Put me on the nay side.
Well, maybe the ending is a fantasy, but apart from that, what this movie reminded me of is movies like Boiler Room and In the Company of Men. And I think that the way that I approached it was not that this is the story of a psycho killer, but that this is a portrait of a personality. And that there are people like this, overachievers, very narcissistic, very egotistical, self-centered, and greedy, who entirely focus on gratifying their own immediate impulses.
And you think that's what pushed
And I think that's what the movie is really about. I think it's about a personality type, and I think that all the killing and all the massacres and the chainsaws and everything else are just kind of Bret Easton Ellis and Mary Herron just kind of pushing it over the edge,
and
when it actually, the message is on this side of the edge.
I guess I couldn't get past that. I don't particularly like the slasher genre. It disturbed me, and if that's what they were wanting to do, they succeeded in that respect.
Well, this is not a slasher genre movie.
Well...
In fact, the violence, despite the fact that it almost got an NC-17 rating, the violence in this movie is a step down from some slasher movies.
That's true. They left it up to the, that's one thing I have to say, the director left it up to our imagination to do the work. I guess I have a very overactive imagination. I didn't like the movie, and I know that I won't be the only one. It's a
No, you won't. In fact, when I saw this at Sundance, I would say that a lot of the people in the audience found it reprehensible, and they just hated it. Then again, I saw it at another festival.
Everybody
people
loved
liked it more, but we're not reviewing audiences anyway.
No, and it's going to be just as controversial as the book
I doubt if anybody is likely to go to American Psycho who doesn't know what it's about, so they won't be surprised anyway. At least not after this discussion. Okay, next movie, and our next movie is East is East, another one of the lively comedies coming out of the Indian and Pakistani communities in England and elsewhere. This one stars Om Puri as a man who emigrated from Pakistan 25 years ago, married a British wife, runs a fish and chip shop with her, and tries unsuccessfully to keep the lid on a family where the melting pot is bubbling over.
For you, my love?
What the bleeding hell is that?
It's good, I think. Bloody bargain.
It's an old barber's chair, you daft toot. Honestly,
That's Linda Bassett as his long-suffering maid who works long hours in the shop and listens to his endless lectures on what is wrong with the world today. The father determines to arrange marriages between two of his sons and two suitable Pakistani women from a nearby town. But nothing seems to go according to tradition, and the old man is horrified to discover that his youngest son hasn't even been circumcised, as all Muslim men must be.
What you going on about, you big daft get? What bleeding tickle-tackle?
Mullassies, all the bloody children in a mosque sing.
Well, he must be seeing things, George, because they were all done, all 6 of them.
She's right, George.
You don't believe me? You bloody looking.
Saji, come here.
Get Stu.
The little boy wears his parka with the hood up almost all the way through the film, like a refugee from South Park. East is East is in the tradition of British working-class comedies, and you can just about imagine a 1960 version of this film starring Peter Sellers. It makes a nice companion piece to My Son the Fanatic, another recent film also starring Om Puri, along with Rachel Griffiths. It's been said for years that a lot of the vitality in English-language fiction comes from Indian and Pakistani writers, and now it looks like the same thing is happening at the movies.
This was my favorite movie of the 5 that we've reviewed today. It is so warm and touching, yet it's realistic in the fact that many families have darker sides to them, have issues that fundamentally shake the foundation of what's going on in a family. It's very comedic, it's very warm, and it's very true.
Yeah, it's interesting. This is on the same show as Keeping the Faith, because here again we have people trying to preserve traditions in the face of romantic impulses.
But also being true to what who they really are. Yes, they are. And another thing I appreciated about the movie was being set in the 70s, the bell-bottoms, the disco era, a sharp contrast to the restrictive Muslim society. And I think that really provided us with a realistic glimpse of what these kids were having to deal with.
Okay, coming up next, my video pick of the week was one of the best films of 1999.
Roger Ebert in the Movies Video Pick of the Week is brought to you by Nestle Raisinets. At the movies or at home, Raisinets.
My video pick this week is Three Kings, the audacious movie by David O. Russell that made a lot of lists of the best films of the year, including mine. It's 3 films in one, a war movie, a political satire, and a comedy, and it's all 3 all at once in an exuberant outpouring of energy and invention. The movie is set at the end of Operation Desert Storm and stars George Clooney as a man who discovers a map to gold that Saddam Hussein looted from the Kuwaitis.
Still looks like a series of bunkers, 3 villages a little farther to the east.
75 clicks north.
More like 65.
That's way north of any Allied troops.
That's perfect. We don't want any troops around.
Ice Cube and Mark Wahlberg co-star there as his partners in crime in a new world where them and us seem to be all mixed up together.
I see some people, but I can't see what's happening. Stay put.
How's your little girl?
She's safe for now.
Outstanding. Excellent. How can we help you?
Well, we had a deal to get us to the border, but now we have more people. We need more vehicles.
Well, that's not a problem. We're going to work it out. We have to do this. We can work it out, okay?
Three Kings was directed by David O. Russell, who said in a recent issue of The Nation magazine that when he took this project to big studios, a lot of them turned it down because it was so highly charged politically that they thought it would be dangerously controversial. But guess who thought it was one of the year's best films? President Clinton. Three Kings, my video pick of the week. Now let's take another look at the movies we reviewed on this week's show. 2 thumbs up for 28 Days and for Sandra Bullock's winning performance. 2 more thumbs up for the romantic comedy Keeping the Faith, Edward Norton's directorial debut. A split decision for Where the Money Is. Michaela resented the formula, I like the chemistry. Another split on American Psycho. Michaela found it too hard to take, I like the message beneath the violence. Finally, 2 enthusiastic thumbs up for East is East, the affectionate look at cultures clashing in Britain.
Have to see East is East. It's a great movie, great performances.
You know, those are the movies that aren't playing in 2,000 screens around the country. People have to look for those.
It's worth a look.
Okay, remember, you can hear our reviews on the web, Michaela and myself at Ebert-movies.com, part of Go Network. My print reviews at suntimes.com/Ebert. Next week, reviews of more new movies, including U-571, an undersea adventure thriller starring Matthew McConaughey. That's next week, and until then, the balcony is closed.